In this lesson, we look at the Pythagorean theorem from the reverse direction. So we know that if we have a right triangle, we can plug side lengths into the formula and find a missing side length. But we can also use mystery triangles and decide whether or not they are right triangles by plugging them into the formula. And you might think like, whoop-de-doo, that sounds like the same thing. But not all statements can be reversed that way. So we have here, it says if P then Q, and then when we switch it, we do if Q then P. Like I can't say, well, my grandmother likes apples, and then switch a statement and say, if a person likes apples, then they're my grandma. So being able to switch a statement is actually a really powerful skill, and not everything can be done like that. So the converse, or the switch, of the Pythagorean theorem says that if the equation a squared plus b squared equals c squared works, then it is a right triangle. And you might think that sounds exactly like the Pythagorean theorem, but when we did our Pythagorean theorem lesson, we said if we have a right triangle, then we can use this formula. And now we're saying if we use the formula, then we have a right triangle. So very similar, but also just a slight bit different. So what we're going to do in example 1 is determine whether these triangles are right triangles. Now, in the past, you would always know that something is a right triangle because it would have that right angle box in the corner. So like maybe we think this is a right triangle right here, and maybe this isn't, but you could be looking at this from a different angle. If you think about like art, right, you might be looking at it from a different perspective. It might be an 89-degree angle, which would not work in the Pythagorean theorem. It might be a 91-degree angle, and your eye can't tell the difference. So we have to check it in the formula. So the first step is that we write our formula. And then I told you that the only side that really matters where it goes is the hypotenuse, and that's the side that's across from the right angle. But if there is no right angle, I taught you another thing to know about the hypotenuse, and that's that it's the longest side. So this 41 has to go in the C spot because it's the longest side. The other ones, it doesn't matter which one is A and which one is B. So now I do 81 plus 1,600. Over here, I get 1,681, and then obviously that is the same. So my answer is yes, this is a right triangle. Let's do the same for letter B. Let's write our formula. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. And the longest side is going to go in for the C. So that's going to be 24. And then it doesn't matter where you plug in the other two. 18 squared is 324 plus 144 equals 24 squared is 576. So now I add them. 8. Oh, that's not equal. So this would be a no. In example 2, they give us some points, and we're going to see if it forms a right triangle. So let's pause the video and make a grid and plot the points. Alright, so the easiest one to find is B to C, because that just goes straight down. So B to C has a distance of 5. Now what I need to do, though, is I have to figure out here. Well, back in the Pythagorean theorem lesson, I told you if you're trying to find a slanted distance, you can turn it into a right triangle. So we have to pause for a moment. We're trying to find the distance from A to C. In order to do that, I need to pause for a moment on my original triangle and create this blue triangle right here. So my distances here are 1 and 2. So in order to find AC, I'm going to do 1 squared plus 2 squared equals, I'll call it AC squared just so we know what I'm looking for. So that's 1 plus 4 equals AC squared. So the square root of 5 is going to be the length here. Now, I'm going to leave it as the square root of 5. You'll understand later. But leave it as a square root of 5. Okay, now I have to do the same thing all over again for A to B. So I told you if you're trying to find a slanted length on the grid, turn it into a right triangle. So let's see, we got, that's 2, and then that's a 4. So if I want to find AB, I'm going to do 2 squared plus 4 squared equals AB squared. So that's going to be 4 plus 16 equals AB squared. So then the square root of 20 is the length of AB. So just go with me. There's a reason that I'm not turning it into a decimal. Okay, so now if I look at my original triangle, A, B, C, I now know my 3 side lengths. It's going to be the square root of 5 squared plus the square root of 20 squared equals 5 squared. Well, I told you all the way back in lesson 1 that square root and squaring inverse each other. So this just cancels and you have 5. Same thing for here, you just have 20, and 5 squared is 25. So it actually is. Yes. Okay, let's look at one more example. You design a football play in which a player runs down the field, makes a 90-degree turn, and runs to the corner of the end zone. So you start here, you go that way, and then you go that way. Your friend ran the play as shown, where each grid line represents 10 feet. Did your friend run the play correctly? So I have to do the same kind of thing, but the stinky part of this question is that I don't have any straight lines. So I have to use my idea like I did up here of finding those slanted side lengths, only I have to do it now 3 times to find the distances. Because what we're trying to find out is, did the friend make a 90-degree turn? That's the question that we're trying to figure out. So I'll do D1 first. So there's my triangle. And it looks like it's 3, which is really, so it's 30. So 30, right, because it tells me that each box is worth 10. And then across is 30. So in order to find D1, I'm going to do 30 squared plus 30 squared equals D1 squared. So that's 900 plus 900, D1 squared. 1800 equals D1 squared. I take the square root, and just like the last one, I'm going to leave it as the square root of 1800 because that worked out really well. Since 1800 is not a perfect square, let's just leave it. Now I'm going to change colors just so you can see the difference. I'm going to do D2. So here's the triangle for D2. So the bottom is 50, and that's also 50. So for D2, it's going to be 50 squared plus 50 squared equals D2 squared. So that's 2500. That's 5,000. And again, 5,000 is not a perfect square. So I'm going to leave it as the square root of 5,000. Okay, last one, D3. I'll go to purple now. So this is 20, and the height is 80. So 20 squared plus 80 squared equals D3 squared. 400 plus 6,400 equals D3 squared. let's see, that's 6,800 equals d3 squared. And then when you square root, it cancels out. So d3 is the square root of 6,800. Now you might already know that it's going to work because you might see the numbers. But now if I go back to the original triangle, which was d1, d2, and d3, I have the square root of 1,800 squared plus the square root of 5,000 squared equals the square root of 6,800 squared. And again, the beautiful thing about squares and square roots is they cancel each other out. So 1,800 plus 5,000, and obviously, yes, that does equal 6,800. So we know that we got it. So then, yes, let's answer the question. All the way back, it said, did the friend run the play correctly? So they did turn at a 90-degree angle. So yes, the friend ran the play correctly. Right. Now, normally you will be allowed to turn them into decimals, so you could, if you wanted to, turn the square root of 1,800, 5,000, and 6,800 into decimals, but because it was just easier since we were going to end up squaring it, we left it. But if you want to turn it into a decimal, that's okay. You just have to understand that you are getting a rounded value. All right, if you have any questions, write them down and ask me when you talk to me next.